Imagine that you are one of the last living disciples of Jesus that are left. And imagine that the group of churches that you are kind of in charge of, or that you are leading, or that you are caring for, begins to be full of a whole bunch of division. As it seems like one of these house churches, or maybe a group of people, have walked away and denied that Jesus actually was God, and have started to do their own things, and they're boasting or bragging about how important they are, and they're going after things that they really shouldn't. How would you respond? Now, the letters of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John actually give us a glimpse into what someone who is in that kind of situation would write and would try to encourage the fellow believers to do. They're written by John, the beloved disciple, most likely, the one who was with Jesus and was around as Jesus did all of his different things, the one who at this point in his life and in the story is probably the last surviving apostle, the last of that group of 12, as all of the rest have been killed for their faith and their declaration that Jesus is Lord. So John seeks to encourage this group of believers to continue to keep Jesus as first or as primary in their lives and in the ways that they interact with one another, and to live as if Jesus is first in their lives. And the way we do this is twofold, according to John. The first is that we walk in the light, and the second is that we love as Jesus loved, because, John says, God is light and love. Now, John kind of returns back to these themes over and over and over again as he goes through these letters, and he explores or exposes the idea that because God is light, we need to live in the light. We need to be able to acknowledge the things that are true, to admit that we are broken, that we have sinned, that we choose to do things that are not good for us, but we do so not to kind of wallow in self-pity, but to recognize that we are forgiven because of what Jesus has done for us, to accept that forgiveness, and to know that then we will be renewed and we will live lives that we really want to live, that can avoid these mistakes and these intentional choices that lead to harm for those who are around us or to ourselves. We can avoid choosing to sin. And we learn to live lovingly towards one another, because if we follow Jesus and declare him to be God, then we learn that God most clearly reveals himself through the way that he loves this world, by laying down his life for us, by giving up his own life, by dying for our sins, so that we could then be reunited and be called children of God. And so then we are to live that way, to live the new life that God places within us, by loving one another, by sacrificing things that we want for the good of those who are around us. And both of these themes show up in the key verses, in 1 John chapter 4, verse 15 and 16. John says, "If anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in him and he in God. And so we know and rely on the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever lives in love lives in God, and God is in him." So may we continue to learn to love one another, to sacrifice some of the things that we might want for the good of those who are around us.